Guys, we're recording again. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 2 of The Rabbit Hole. So we didn't do a proper introduction last time. So today we're just going to kind of be talking a little bit about us. You know, what do we like to do? What do we do on our free time? Stuff like that. What have we done since we've been in? I think that a lot of us, being 30 plus years of experience, we have a lot of and I mean, most of that's on the Sergeant Span side, you know what I'm saying? So, but we're just going to dive in, talk a little bit about us, things that we've done since we've been in, and things that we like to do when we're on our free time, because everybody knows it's not always soldier, you know. We're people too at the end of the day, and we all have hobbies and things that we like to do. So, I guess. So who wants to start? Starting Piper, you want to start us off or what?
Sure. Span, is that okay with you?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. We'll filter my stories in between, you know?
All right, good.
That sounds about good. So kind of aforementioned yesterday, I was married twice. My most recent marriage, I married into twin boys. They're teenagers now, so that's fun. But my wife decided
I bet.
My wife decided about a month now. She went to the gym, and then she came back like 2.5 hours later with a to-go box that had 4 ducks inside of it. So a lot of my free time now is building stuff for these ducks, like outside enclosures and stuff like that. But I do a lot of like carpentry, a lot of finished carpentry and stuff like that for fun. Play Fortnite. Actually, me and Rose, we play a lot of League of Legends and stuff like that too.
Yeah, Rose sucks. Jeez,
Not while we're working. Yeah, we don't do that.
That's brutal.
What's that? Well, we screwed up that last game. We should have switched. You know.
Yeah, that was bad.
Span also plays a little bit of League when he fixes his computer.
Yeah, if I could just figure out how to remap my drive to allow me to run off my D drive, other programs. And so it's funny thing about gaming. I never used to game on a computer, you know, typical 90s kid, PlayStation, Xbox, that kind of thing. And when I got back from Afghanistan, I had quite a bit of money in my pocket. And so, you know, I had 28 days of leave saved up or something like that. So I didn't have to go back to work for like a whole month. And this girl I was dating at the time, she was like this big WoW player. And I was like, you know, yeah.
Got him.
Wow, what? So it didn't take long. Not having a lot to do and having a lot of money in my pocket, ended up purchasing a nice gaming computer and dove in, and I played WoW almost nonstop for 3 years. And then, like we just talked about, and then all of a sudden, just like a dry spell stopped. It's crazy how things work out.
Yeah, dude. I still play WoW. I still have an active account. And you know what's crazy is that I, like, all throughout high school and really up until I got through basic training, somebody was like, hey, you should play WoW. And I was like, you're a nerd, dude. Like, why would I ever play WoW? That's the nerdiest game ever. Like, I would never play that game. That game is so stupid. And then I made fun of this guy that I used to work with for playing it. Not like made fun of him, but just joked with him, you know. But he was like, yeah, you should play it. And I was like, no, dude, I'm not playing it. And then I went to DLI, and I was just blowing through money out there. You know, spending a lot of money, partying, drinking and stuff. And I was just like, man, I got to do something else because I'm spending too much money. And someone's like, you should try WoW. And I was like, dude, that's a nerd game. I'm not trying that. They're like, just try it. They're like, you'll save so much money. And they were right. I paid the subscription fee, but I wasn't going out to the bar every night.
Hmm.
So it was definitely, and like probably the best worst thing that ever happened in my career, because I got addicted to it, and then I became one of those like, hey man, you should play WoW type people, trying to lure all my friends into playing it. So it it didn't work out too good, but I don't know. I still keep an active subscription, and I'm actually looking forward to the next expansion, Shadowlands. It's coming out hopefully by the end of this year. I love that. I mean, it looks really good. So
Shadowlands.
yeah, yeah.
What's
So
that all supposed to be about?
So it's just a new leveling realm. I haven't really watched all of the videos. I just watched like the trailers and stuff, and I haven't delved into a lot of the details of it yet, just because I know it's so far away from coming out that and I play it casually, not super like crazy.
Yeah.
So but yeah, like you said, a little bit of League of Legends, a little bit of, and I almost went to exclusively playing PC games, because I think that it's so much more fun to play on a PC. Even though I suck at first person shooters on a PC. I mean, I suck at them in general. But like, you want to see somebody that really sucks at a PC game, put me on a first person shooter with a mouse and keyboard, and it's terrible. So, but
Yeah,
I have a
I'm too
question for
old
y'all.
for all that.
what's
Yeah.
up?
Is it so? Every person I've ever come across in the military, they always like to hike and do like outside sports. Is that not true? I can't
Uh,
help the eyebrow thing; it just goes up.
so I mean, I think that it has to be true, right? Like, it's some part of you has to like being outside, and doing things outside, because that's what most of our jobs involve, where we are going to be at. You're going to be outdoors. You're going to be doing stuff like going on ruck marches and stuff. So I don't know. I think that it's probably something that everybody should at least, if not you're not super passionate about it, but you at least enjoy it to some extent.
No.
I disagree. I think that there's a small handful of us in the Army that are like, oh, let's go out and hang out in the woods and go hiking and the outdoors. I think it's a small percentage of us that want to be Bear Grylls, or those guys that are the survivalists. I think really what it is that I think most people in the Army enjoy any kind of challenge, whether it's an indoor challenge or an outdoor challenge. Something that's going to, exercise their mental capacity or physical capacity. That's just what I believe, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. And I think that I've run into a lot more people that enjoy sports over the last couple of years, really, because I didn't play too many intramural sports, even though I did sports my entire life. But once I joined the Army, I didn't do them for whatever reason. I was too busy with focusing on school, or too busy focusing on whatever else I was focusing on. I don't know.
Yeah, but the gym's still a sport too.
Yeah, but I'm talking like intramural type sports.
Nerd.
I but I started playing softball recently, probably about 4 years ago, and I like some of the most competitive softball I've ever played. Was against people that are in the military. It's insane how many people play softball. I thought it was like an old man drinking sport, but not. And then two, like, play it seriously, and to a point where that's what they do for their whole life.
For a living, for some people.
For a living for some people, but they get out of work and they go to the field, and then they're at the field until like 9-10 o'clock at night, hitting to, and then they do that every day of the week, and then they go to play the tournaments on Saturdays, or Saturdays and Sundays, some tournaments. But dude, it's like an all day, every day thing for some people, and it's like, and then that's all they do. So
I have noticed that a lot. I had a soldier who did the same thing with golf.
Yeah.
He would wake up early. He would go work on his swing, and then would get out of work and they would golf like until it was dark out.
Yep.
And then on the weekends he would do tournaments and travel all over the place to go do that. So
I've found that there's a lot of niches, right? Like the WoW world. Never heard of WoW. I got introduced to it, and there's this whole community. Softball. For me, I started playing softball at the end of my senior year for a church league just before I joined the Army. And I thought that was just, I thought girls played softball, and I thought like churches played softball. I didn't know that there was this huge softball community. I know, right? This huge softball community. So when I got to my first duty station, I found out that, my company had a team. And so I was like, how do I get on it? And they're like, well, you got to try out. I'm like, what? It's the Army. What do you mean I got to try out? Like, I'm a part of the team. And they're like, yeah, okay, but, only so many players can play. So luckily enough for me, I made the softball team. And the awesome thing about that is the first, I think 18 months that I was in the Army, I didn't do organized PT in the morning. I went and played softball. So like everyone else is out running 2 miles, 3 miles, humping a rucksack or doing push-ups and sit-ups, circuit drills, whatever. I'm out on a softball diamond, taking grounders, chasing pop flies, batting practice. Like it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, but let's be real, man. Hitting softballs is pretty tiring. You hit a good amount, 20, 25, 30, and then you do that 3 or 4 times a day. You could end up pretty sore the first couple times you do it. It's crazy.
Our coach, I can't remember his name. He's a big guy, just one of those country guys, just stocky, hoss-like. We always did this infield drill. I'm sure everybody that's played baseball or softball has done it, but you think that, it's softball, how hard or physical can it be? But then all of a sudden, you got 15, 18 guys lined up along the bases, and you got this 260-pound Hulk slapping liners at you, and, you have to field those and then throw them, and you're doing that for a half hour. And, your core, your arms, you get a workout. And if you don't, you're going to have some bruises because that means the balls hit you versus you catching it.
And it's funny you mentioned golf. I've been to Hawaii twice. And you want to talk about some of the most beautiful golf courses in the world, go to Hawaii. But I actually got really good my first time that I was out there because I wasn't doing anything else, and I didn't have kids yet. So we didn't have my first kid until about a year into my tour out there. So I got a lot of time in golfing, and yeah, I got pretty good actually because I can hit the ball really far. My short game, terrible. So once I kind of got around to getting that a little bit better, I was really good. And I got to golf. I have some pictures on my actually I don't think I have them on my Instagram for work, but I have them on my personal Instagram. But just the golf courses out there are crazy. And then I actually got to golf 2 holes behind Obama. And I'm not a political person, right? So I didn't care about any of that, whatever people were talking about at that time. But I just thought it was awesome that I got to golf right behind 2 holes right behind President Obama. It was the coolest thing ever. And every time we'd make a turn, Secret Service is sitting out there. And you see them come around so many times because every time they lose vision of you, they have to come back over and metal scan you and all kinds of stuff. It's pretty crazy procedures. But yeah, so we're golfing, and then we just start making friends with the Secret Service guys. So we're asking them hey, what if the president wants to go out and surf? And what do you guys do? And they're like, we go out and surf in our suits. Just saying that it was pretty funny. But I think the funniest thing that happened when we were out there, man, is we were teeing off and he was teeing off and we could see him, but I had a really nice camera, so I'm taking pictures, of course, of him, and I didn't end up posting them just because for whatever reason I didn't want to create a big political
OPSEC thing.
Yeah, an OPSEC and whatever. There's a bunch of reasons that I didn't post them, but yeah. So we're teeing off. He's teeing off, and the guy that we're golfing with, one of my buddies' father-in-laws, tees off into him, and I would say like the ball hit a tree, and it almost hit him, and so we're like. We're dying laughing, and all of a sudden you just see like 15 Secret Service dudes come out of the woodwork. It's like, where did you guys all come from, man? And I mean, there was like a ton of them, and they like surround this golf ball. And what the heck? It's a golf ball. He's golfing, but that was pretty hilarious. Yeah, I love golfing out there, man. Golfing in Hawaii was probably some of the most like the coolest things I've done, just because the golf courses are so nice. And now I went to Colorado for a little while, and I got really bad at golfing. So,
Pfeiffer, you got any golf stories to top the Obama story?
No, I don't know if I've ever heard a story that could top that when it comes to golfing. But I will say,
I've got one.
No.
Oh,
way.
okay.
Yeah. So my first introduction to golf, like really golfing, was when I was in Korea, and I was stationed up in the DMZ. Have you guys ever heard of the most dangerous one-hole golf course?
No.
I mean, no, but I would imagine. I can imagine it right now.
Google it. World's dangerous golf course in Korea. It's up in the DMZ. It's one hole. It's a par 3. So we're having this little tournament, and the battalion commander is involved. Everyone's involved. Having a great time. Well, the BC's son was standing, leaning up against this tiny tree that was kind of behind the hole. It's kind of like off to the right and behind it. And I go up to take my 100-yard chip shot, and I don't know why, but I was like, hey, you should probably move. So the kid moves, and I tee off, and somehow I hit the golf ball behind me, and it hit the tree right where that kid was had been standing if I hadn't asked him to move. So I suck at golf. I can hit the ball farther in the wrong direction than I can down the fairway.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely have done that once. I've never hit the ball behind me. I don't know how you do that. How is that even possible?
I'm telling you, I've hit shots that have gone out probably 50 to 75 yards and then boomeranged back.
I don't think there's anybody in the military that's ever not played golf, at least once.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of days off where you just especially in Hawaii, they do a lot of fundraising, and that's like the biggest fundraiser is just get out of work for a day and go do a golf scramble with somebody in your company. That's pretty awesome.
And almost every post I think has a golf course, and it's usually like super reduced price, if not free, and then they have reduced price beer.
Depends on what Knox has a pretty nice course, and their prices are almost on par with a course that's off base.
Oh, really?
And yeah, when I was stationed there, it was kind of relaxed. It wasn't, you didn't have to have like a polo and khakis or anything like that. And then when I went back there for advanced leaders course, they required us to at least have a polo. But it's a pretty nice course when they have the ability to maintain it. Were any of the courses in Hawaii? Any of the courses in Hawaii actually on a base, or were they just all of the island courses?
So the Marines, that's the one that I actually golf right behind Obama. Their course is right on their base, and that's probably, I mean, if I had to guess, it's probably one of the nicest courses in the military. that course down there is super nice. They keep it. It's well kept. Their back, like they have this on the back nine. They have like a 4 or 5 hole stretch that's right along the ocean. And I mean, like, dude, it's crazy. It's pretty nice. And then the Army one's not on Schofield, and I think so. The Air Force has theirs on theirs as well. It's Hickam. They have a base or a thing on their base, a golf course. So,
but the Army maintains one in Hawaii.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they made it's literally like across the road from Schofield, or from Wheeler actually, but which is right across the road from Schofield. The Army's bases out there are kind of weird, because you have Schofield, which is like the main base, and then Wheeler, which is their airfield, and then the golf course is right across from Wheeler. So
Got it.
yeah, but so I mean, outside of that, I think that softball and golf, those are like the two things that I've done the most as far as like sports stuff. And then I play my video games, man. And I'm not great at any video games. Actually, I'm not really very good at any video games, I don't think. But
that's funny. You were bragging about your KD before we left work. You're like, "Oh, my KD, top of the line KD."
No, I wasn't. I'm garbage at Call of Duty. I will tell you that, right? Like, straight up. But I have some really good people that I play with, which is why I would be down to challenge Sergeant Hayes, calling him out now.
Watch out, Sergeant Hayes.
I would be down to, because I got some people that I play with that are really good, but I suck. So, but yeah, I mean, so outside of that, I think that you mentioned carpentry. What kind of stuff do you like to build and do?
So I built this desk I'm sitting at. It's kind of a disaster. I'd show you maybe next time. No, so working at home, it kind of like invaded my own personal space,
Yeah.
But I made a computer desk. It's like a couple's desk. It's shaped like a J, essentially. So me and my wife both sit at it, but I also can work off the same desk space. There's a ton of room. I just built a couple of boxes out of some birch ply and just regular like 3/4 birch to like store my daughter's toys and stuff in it.
Like raw, or is it, when you say birch, like a plywood, or?
So the plywood
okay.
is actually plywood, but the 3/4 that's more just in the raw, and I use it mostly for like finishing the edges and stuff like that. But I got super into it about, like, I don't know, 2 years ago when I started getting into the whole Jocko podcast and stuff like that. So Spam, you know what I'm talking about. So I've been working on my life resume, essentially. It's what I can do with my life. So whether it's, finishing a degree, or just the ability to be able to do finished carpentry, or to be able to weld. So like, I started learning French last year. I started learning the guitar when I was on deployment, because you have all kinds of time on deployment. So I taught myself how to weld and to do finished carpentry last year. And then I went to work into doing some blacksmithing here in the next couple of years too.
Dude, blacksmithing, that's what I want to do, man. Blacksmithing would be legit.
I did blacksmithing when I was a young lad, talking like 12, 15 years old. Crazy story. My stepdad, my little brother's dad, he was a farrier. Either of you guys know what a farrier is?
No, is that like a mythical hero?
Yes. No.
The WoW character.
A farrier is someone that shoes horses, right? Like.
Okay.
They're the people that take care of the hooves of
hooves, yeah.
horses. So he owned a pet shop and a farrier school. So like, I got to learn how to, take raw iron bars and turn them into horseshoes. And I learned how to shoe horses. We owned Michigan's largest boa constrictor when I was like it's been so long, I probably messing up the timeline, but I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and we had like a 27-foot boa constrictor. We owned two lion cubs at one point.
Joe Exotic Jr.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that when I watched it.
Jeez.
Crazy story, right? So we had a llama, 2 Shetland ponies, and then 3 regular horses. The llama was mean as all could be. And so it like bit one of our horses. The horse like freaked out. It went lame. I don't remember the exact story about how this horse ended up going lame. So long story short, some of the students found this horse and, put it down, and then they fed it to the lion cubs. Like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that seems about standard. I've watched enough, Lion King to know that that's what you should do, anyways.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean,
so was that movie? Was that movie We Bought a Zoo about like your childhood?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm telling you, if we were ever to sit down and just have long conversations about the different lifestyles that I lived, I grew up in the country. Belleville. I don't know if either of you guys are familiar with Belleville, but when I was a kid, Belleville was just all cornfields, and like your neighbor was 3 blocks away. So a lot of farmers, a lot of like 4-H kind of people lived out there. And then probably right about 13, I moved to the city. So I lived in, all over the Detroit metro area, Inkster, Romulus, Westland, Wayne. One of the things that I love to talk about with the kids from all of our high schools, right, is my graduating class was little less than 1,000 kids.
What?
Jesus.
Yeah, that was my graduating. Mine
was 150.
150.
Yeah, it was super small. But
yeah, and that's a lot.
We know over there.
Yeah. So, and then being in the Army and just traveling everywhere, I've lived a Joe Exotic life for sure.
Especially having tigers or lion cubs or whatever it was.
Yep, lion cubs, dude. I'm telling you, it was crazy. What's up, bud? Oh, my son has developed this new thing since I've been home. He thinks it's hilarious that when he gets his diaper changed, to run to the stairs and throw it down the stairs instead of throwing it away. Like, he's so proud of it.
Nice. You better go take care of that.
Yeah, somebody fall down. I'll be right back.
Perfect.
Sounds
timing.
like Span lived quite the Carol Baskins lifestyle.
Jeez, man, that's crazy. So I rode with that dude every single day for like the last, I don't even know how long, and I didn't even know that. So that's pretty crazy.
That he owned a zoo.
Yeah. My phone. Crazy.
You never really know a lot about the people you surround yourself with, and the people in the military, they usually have this crazy background story.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the reason I asked you about your carpentry stuff is that I actually do quite a bit of that stuff too. So probably when I was in Hawaii, so after I left Hawaii the first time and got to Colorado, my wife was like, "Hey, I really want this farmhouse table." And I
like
was
the one Bulls just built.
Yeah, I mean, so ours is a little bit different, but basically the same thing. So I was like, okay, cool. So let's go look and see if we can find one. Well, turns out those things cost like $2,500 or something.
What?
Crazy. Yeah, dude, they're crazy expensive for the one that she wanted. So I was like, man, screw that. I'm gonna go get all the material and everything. And I think I bought a saw. So I only bought like the bare minimum of the things that we needed to make cuts and do the things that we needed to make the table. Well, I think I spent like maybe $500 on, I got a saw, I got all the material to make this thing, and I spent like less than what it would have cost. And then we built it in, I don't know, and I had never built anything before. We built it in probably like 12 hours or something like that. It probably didn't even really take us that long. That was more of us just kind of trying to figure things out, figure out how to make certain cuts and stuff like that we had to do. And I was like, dang, this is pretty awesome. Like it's a lot of fun. It's a pretty stress relieving thing to do.
Yeah.
And it can get a little expensive because, you know, I'm now building, you know, like all kinds of stuff that we're not getting any money back for, but we're not spending the money on things either. So it's pretty fun, and like I said, it's stress relieving, man. I get to get out of my house for a little while, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go work on your end tables, or I'm gonna go work on your coffee table that you want me to build, or whatever. And she's like, okay, go ahead and get out. So it gets me out of the house for a minute, and I get to kind of clear my head and not really think about anything else other than just how to make the next cut.
That makes me want to walk upstairs and show you guys the toy chests I'm making for Lily's stuff.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so far I built a table for somebody else. I built our table. I built some benches, a coffee table, a coffee bar. We've made some signs and stuff like that. And then now I'm working on end table / dresser things. And drawers are like the worst thing to build. I don't like building drawers.
They're super simple, man.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll show you the easy way. You just need a dado and a table saw.
Yeah, I have a table saw. I actually, and that's what I was going. We bought the bare minimum, and now my like tools have just compounded, and I have a bunch of stuff that I don't even really need to use. Like it's crazy. So I'm like, hey, I need this tool to do this one thing that I'm probably only going to ever do once. But we just go.
What about you, Spam? Do you do any carpentry stuff too?
Yeah. I mean,
yes, you do.
My problem is I'm not a creative person, right? So
I can see that.
To just dream stuff up is like that table that you made behind the for your couch. What do they call that?
It's a sofa table.
A sofa table, yeah. Like I would have never been able to dream that up. I mean, that thing was sweet looking. If someone would have gave me, if someone gives me some plans, sure. I love working with my hands. You know, I was like we talked about last time, being a rough framing apprentice. When you work in carpentry, when you work in any of the trades, you're going to have some pretty hilarious stories. So we'll have to dive into those sometime. So I love working with my hands. Like exactly what you guys have said. You know, you get lost in what you're doing, and you know everything else kind of. And then at the end, you have something to show for it. You know.
Yeah, that sense of completion.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's probably what draws me to it more. My wife is always like, why do you keep doing this? You get so mad. And I'm like, that's because one, I'm a perfectionist. And like getting raw wood that doesn't come straight to be perfect just is never going to happen. So like I get kind of angry, and I like start bending the wood, and then it messes it all up, and then I got to redo everything because I got mad. And then I just got to remind myself, like, you know, I'm doing this as a stress reliever, and then everything just turns out. But I do get pretty angry sometimes, just because like I want everything to be perfect, and I want everything.
But you don't have like a joiner planer stuff yet, right?
No, so those I don't have. I just have a table saw, and then the Craig jig thing. So the Craig jig, not that this is an ad for them, but those things are awesome.
The pocket hole jig.
Yeah, pocket holes. It makes things way easier when you're joining stuff. So the next thing I actually want to try to do, and I don't know if you guys have any experience with this, is using live edge stuff. So like live edge, meaning like they basically just cut a tree down, and then they cut a board out of it. And I think that working with that kind of stuff is pretty sweet. So if you can do some stuff with that,
there's actually a place out in Charlotte that sells that stuff.
Yeah. It's super expensive. Like the wood itself is. So, getting it and working with it, you can make quite a bit of money if that's what you want to do with it. But we usually just build stuff to make around our house. So for us, it would be, we don't really have a use for it, but I want to learn how to work with it. Just because I think that it would be a really cool thing to know how to do. But yeah, I don't really, that's like what I do for the most part. I golf. I still golf, even though Michigan winters make it a little bit more difficult to stay regular with the golf. Still golf quite a bit. I haven't really been playing softball. I kind of fell off that when I went to Hawaii, just because.
Yeah, but you're still teaching baseball before the whole quarantine thing.
Yeah, so I was actually going to be one of the varsity coaches, assistant coaches at Ovid Elsie, and then this happened. So it would have been a lot of fun, I think, to have one, because I graduated from there, and then go back to school, give back to the community that gave me so much growing up. So it would have been nice, but there's always next year. I'm here for a little bit longer, so I got 2 more years to potentially help coach if that's what they want, because that's what I want to do. So if they'll have me on the team, then I'll definitely be a part of that program. And I mean, I'm just running out of time, like, to do anything. I like playing video games. I like doing woodworking if I'm going to be coaching, and then I still got to spend time with my 3 kids. So, and then go to school. It's like, geez, man, it's just crazy. So,
and then also grooming that crazy mustache too.
No, I'm getting rid of this thing as soon as quarantine is over. This thing is gone. Yeah, I am definitely not keeping this. This thing. The only reason I'm doing it is because somebody challenged me to keep it. So I was like,
was it the old commander?
No, it wasn't. But I mean, I don't think it looks terrible on me, does it? Like, it doesn't look.
You're starting to look like Mario.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We just need that theme song to play in the background. Do, 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 do.
I mean, maybe I'll keep it for like one day of work just to see what everybody says, and then I'm getting rid of this thing.
You just got to have it immortalized in a nice picture, put it right get it blown up into one of those nice oil paintings and hang it in the living room so everyone can see it.
So what about your time in Cuba? What did you guys do? Oh, you just blanked this out.
Yeah, I had an alarm go off. Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, like, did you guys get to go to the beaches and stuff when you were out there? I've never.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to talk about it earlier, and then we kind of got off into another realm there. I've been to Iraq, Afghanistan, and Cuba, and Korea, and Cuba and Korea are kind of the same. Not really a deployment. Obviously Iraq, Afghanistan, those are kind of deployments, and it's the point is that when you do missions like those, you have a lot of time, right? When you're not actually working, what you do, work hard, but you also get plenty of downtime to do what you want to do. So, and each time it was different. Cuba, they had a golf course there. It was like they actually gave you a patch of turf that was about like this for you to put your ball on. So they had greens that you could tee off of. Tee boxes, sorry. They had tee boxes that you could tee off of that were grass, and they had greens that you could put on that were grass. But the fairways ranged from desert rock to like thatchy weed. Like, it was crazy. So
they gave you a piece of grass to set down?
Yes. So they gave you a pack of turf. You would hit your ball, you'd go out there, put your turf down, put the ball on it, and then you could tee off.
So everything's a
I'm,
fairway. You're 100% fairway accuracy no matter what.
well, I mean, they had roughs, and I know this because I found them often. So there was golf. There were beaches, lots of beaches. They had all kinds of boats to, go out boating. You could rent or borrow fishing gear, so you could go out fishing. Fishing was some of the best that you could do because it was like actual like deep water fishing, so you could catch a shark to, I don't know, a sea turtle or whatever.
Catch a sea turtle?
Well,
Pretty sure
I
that's
was
illegal.
trying to think of, yeah, it's definitely illegal. I was trying to think of like in Michigan we have bass and crappie, so I don't know what the
well, they have
open
mahi
water.
mahi down there, don't they?
They have that in Hawaii.
I'm not sure.
That's Hawaii.
Yeah,
that's a big thing in Hawaii. That stuff's good too, man.
Yeah.
But the main thing I did.
What base was down there in Cuba?
There's just the one. It's called Guantanamo Bay. Everyone thinks that.
We didn't mention it, so.
Oh, gotcha. I see. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought it up because it's funny that when you say Gitmo or Guantanamo, everyone just automatically thinks of the detention facility, and that actually is not Guantanamo, right? Guantanamo is actually a naval base that houses or whatever you want to call it, supports the detention facility that's down there. That was one of the crazy things, right? I got to see camp. Maybe I can talk about that. No, never mind what I got to see down there. I worked out a lot while I was in Cuba. That's what I did with a lot of my free time. Non-disclosure statement as we post this to the interwebs. So I went from bench pressing 160 pounds to bench pressing 255 pounds, working out with 120-pound dumbbells. And unfortunately, my genetics, I stayed skinny.
I was gonna say that's pretty good for a tall, lanky guy like you.
He must have been on that Jocko White tee.
Yeah, we were some,
hashtag ad.
So, Cuba was a great time. Work was pretty stressful for what I did down there, but all of the free times, bowling. So they had a bowling alley there. Bowled my best game ever. I bowled like a 197.
Stan,
I promise you.
You're proud of that? You're from Michigan. That's like an average.
No, my average is like 99. I'm a straight ball bowler. Right? Like, I throw the ball straight down the lane and hope that I throw it hard enough that all the pins fall over.
I think if there's one thing that Michiganders should be proud of, it's their bowling. Like, people from Michigan are generally some of the best bowlers, I think.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
When I bowled in high school, we tucked our pants into our socks and did all kinds of goofiness, bowled between our legs, So, like, if you bowled a 103, you were winning that night.
Yeah, I don't know.
Curling.
What's up? You're breaking up there, Sandpiper.
Oh, so you play curling too, like this sport?
No, I do want to. I've got some friends that curl as a pastime, and it looks super exciting.
That actually looks like it's really fun. People judge me, right? So I don't watch a lot of movies, and with it, we'll probably wrap this up here pretty soon. But I don't watch a lot of movies, but I watch some weird sports. I'll watch. I mean, you put a sport on TV, and I'll watch it. You put a sport and then I'm always making stuff up. And I'm 32 years old, and I still act like that. Like, everyone's like, you're kind of old to be doing stuff like this. Like, I play basketball with my kid's basketball hoop because I don't have a basketball hoop. So, so it's like I do a lot of that kind of stuff, just making games up. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go back and see how far I can throw this ball and make it into my kid's small little basketball hoop. just any competitive. I think that's probably what I do the most is just compete. Like we
It's
said
anything that has a challenge.
Yep. Like we said at the beginning, I think that everybody in the military, anybody that likes to take on a challenge, or just even create your own challenges. Sometimes it's not like, hey, I challenge you to this. It's like, no, hey, I'm going to see how far I can throw this ball into this little kid's basketball hoop. Any kind of challenge that you can do, put in front of me, I'm going to at least try it.
Well, that's like last week. I took one of my rock climbing ropes and I hung it up in a tree. It probably like 15 feet up, but I threw it up on a branch and then I shimmied my way up to the tree and then I tied it off and then I actually just put rock climbing pegs in the tree. So now my tree's set up to be a rock climbing wall.
Yeah, you're super laggy. I don't know what's going on with your stuff.
Tell your kids to get off the internet.
That's probably, well, no, I'm also on low battery mode too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's probably why. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else you guys got, man. There's some pretty good stories that I think, at least Sergeant Span, you should have way more stories, man.
I've got all kinds.
Yeah.
I'm a soapbox kind of guy. So if one thing the Army taught me how to do, it's definitely how to church things up and put a nice spin on everything. So I'm sure we'll get to them as we, go through these videos, creating information for everyone to kind of get a better idea of what's it like being in the military, what are the benefits, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah. So I think we'll just wrap it up there, unless you guys got something else that you want to say. If you guys don't have anything else, do you guys got anything?
I'm good.
No, I'm pretty good.
All right. Yeah. Since you guys don't have anything else, I guess one of the things that we wanted to do is we just want to put out, like, how do we reach us? How do you reach an Army recruiter if you're not watching this in the Lansing area? We have goarmy.com. You can go on there, request to get some more information if that's something that you want to do. And then, or you can just reach out to either one of us, add us on Facebook. I'm getting ready to create a podcast page on Facebook so you guys can go in and like it, see when we post new episodes, follow the YouTube channel. Whatever you guys want to do, those are the best ways to reach us. You can reach out to us on YouTube, reach out to us on Facebook, reach out to us on Instagram. At Staff Sergeant Rose is mine. At Staff Sergeant Drew is your Instagram. And then
ssg.drew.
Right. And yeah, that's my SSG. Josh Rose is my Instagram. And then Sergeant Span, what's your Instagram? Yours is
SFC Kurt Span, KURT.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, if anybody ever wants to reach out to us or reach out to your recruiters, just goarmy.com, or find us on Facebook and find the page, like us on YouTube, and so that when we post new videos.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Later.
See you guys.
All right, guys. I'll see you in an hour.